A very good morning to you. Welcome to the Thursday edition of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo.
And I'm Cecilia Omogbe. And this morning we're starting with transfer news. For Chelsea, they're signing their third player so far this season. And the latest is Ben Chilwell. He joined them for 5 years for £45 million. Surely they need defenders. And of course, this guy may just bring stability to their defense.
All right, we'll wait and see. But there's a confirmation for you, Ben Chilwell. The England left back is a blue. He's just joined Chelsea. All right, we move on and let's talk about this one. There's been a pause at the Western and Southern Open. The organizers announced this. Of course, they say that as a sports, they're taking a collective stance against racial inequality, all in relation to what happened in Wisconsin with the Blake shooting, and of course they decided to do it. We'll talk more about that as we progress on the show.
Yeah, and the announcement came after Naomi Osaka decided to withdraw from the tournament, and they said play will be suspended today, but of course they will resume on Friday. Also in the program, the NBA, of course, the bubble is the bubble is bust right now because the players were moved into the bubble to protect them from the deadly virus. It turns out that the coronavirus wasn't the one that will be busting the bubble. It's more like the virus of racism, and games have been called off last night after Milwaukee Bucks. They started the walk off their game against the Orlando Magic, and as a result of that, the NBA and the NBPA also came together last night to suspend all games. So all the games that are supposed to take place last night were all suspended, and we are waiting at the meeting that they'll be having today to know if it's going to continue or not. Okay, and that's where we're starting off the show today, talking about all the games in the NBA that have been postponed because players decided that they are not playing because of the virus of racism that is actually ravaging the U.S. right now.
All right, a lot of issues rolled into one. This was always going to come. You would think that you wouldn't get any other kind of reaction after George Floyd. But like I said yesterday, immediately after George Floyd, the players decided that, look, the platform that we have, we're going to start using it. And a whole lot of the teams involved in the playoffs, Celtics, the Bucks, the Raptors, coming all out. And the NBA were backed into a corner, and they had no other choice. And a statement from Milwaukee Bucks on the screen right there. NBA trying to explain the reason for postponing the games. And Milwaukee Bucks also trying to explain their own reason for the boycott. They say, look, what they want is justice.
Yeah, that's what they said. And of course, the Los Angeles Lakers also standing with their players because the players also met yesterday and they said they are not playing. So the club, the owners of all the clubs are standing with their players. Clippers also had to stand with their players because they are demanding justice and change following the shooting of Jacob Blake, over the weekend. That's on Sunday. So other players are saying they're not playing. We'll be joined by Kayode Ahmed this morning, all the way from the US, to tell us more about this, what's currently going on in the NBA, especially with the story that the Lakers and the Clippers are the ones that saying they want to leave the bubble, but then all other teams want to continue playing. But LeBron James, according to the sources, said they actually walked out of that meeting. So today we're going to find out what's going to happen. Will the NBA continue in the bubble, or will they suspend all the games and the playoffs will no longer be taking place? Or maybe they want to go out, protest, and then come back into the bubble. We don't know what's happening right now. But Kayode Ahmed will be throwing more light on this one this morning. Kayode, good morning. It's good to have you. It's been a long time.
Yes, Cecilia, good morning. Been a while. Good morning, Yemi, and good morning, Lagos, Nigeria.
Okay, let's just start it up. We usually in the morning, once we start, it's always about the games played last night, the best performance, those players that put up the big numbers and everything. But right now, we're not talking about play on court. We are talking about off-the-court issues, social justice system that is happening in the U.S. What's the current situation?
Well, the current situation is that the Board of Governors will be meeting later today, 11 a.m. Eastern Time in the US of A. And the NBA Players Association, called the NBPA, they're going to meet as well, led by Chris Paul. A decision will be made whether the games scheduled today will be played or not. But we can't conclude because the Board of Governors are the ones to decide. Even though the likes of LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, They staged the walkout when the players had a meeting yesterday in solidarity with the Milwaukee Bucks. And it's as a result of what happened on Sunday in Kenosha, Wisconsin. That was why Milwaukee Bucks, who are from the state of Wisconsin, felt that the players of the league have been adamant that more needs to be done as regards social change after recent shooting of Jacob Blake. Wait for the Board of Governors to come out of the meeting before a decision will be made.
All right. Kari, let me quickly, everybody wants to know this. Is cancellation a likely scenario? Because I just want us to get that out. I know there's going to be a lot of meetings held, but is cancellation of the playoffs any of the likely scenarios that might come out of all of these meetings?
Yeah, it's not impossible because the protagonists are the players. If they collectively stage a walkout, the NBA and the Board of Governors would have to abide. So they will have to reach a compromise, so to speak, between the two of them because the players are of the opinion that the government of the day is just paying lip service to the Black Lives Matter movement, saying the police brutality on African Americans who dominate the NBA leaves much to be desired, that there is social injustice and, of course, the racial inequality in America. These are some of the issues that the players want to be addressed. If they can get the confidence of the Board of Governors led by Adam Silver, possibly it could continue. But if the players insist that they want to stage a workout and they want to put a hold on it, I'm afraid the Board of Governors might just have to agree with that.
Well, interesting one. But Kari, we'll put you on hold a little bit and just quickly listen to Milwaukee Bucks, the reasons they've given to boycott their games. All right, that's the statement coming from Norma Powell. And so you have Sterling Brown, all of them talking, about these whole issues. Sterling Brown was also involved in an issue some time ago with the police and the way he was treated. He didn't like it, and that's why these players are actually taking the forefront, to denounce what the police are doing to black men in the U.S. Kayode is still with us. Kayode, you said maybe after the meeting we will know what will happen. Now, Kyrie Irving, when he decided that he wasn't going to go, for the NBA to be concluded, going into the bubble, and there was a lot of criticism on him. Do you think it was actually right? Because some of the players are already saying they don't even want to continue playing.
Well, a lot of the players didn't want to go. Kyrie Irving was like the sore thumb out of the players who protested, saying that it's not convenient health-wise. And of course, the Black Lives Matter movement, which was high in the States at the moment, should be concluded to a logical end before they go back to the bubble. But they kept him aside. But apparently, as it seems now, it's as though he was right from the get-go, based on what happened last Sunday, and going by what happened in May to George Floyd. And it seems as though he's correct, because they pay lip service to everything that has been talked about as regards the Black Lives Matter movement, and the likes of LeBron James. Even though they didn't want to go, they were appealed because they were leading figures. And for Kyrie Irving now, he's having a smirk saying, I told you guys, and look at what is happening right about now.
All right, Kyrie, let's, you're right there. You know what's going on. How about the fans? How do they figure into all of this? A lot of us were so eager to have the NBA, but in spite of all the issues, the health, the issues about racial injustice, and all of those things. How do the fans feel now? Do they want the game to take backstage and let's solve all the problems, or is it a mixed bag?
Well, right about now, the consensus is that this is beyond basketball. This is about lives. Police brutality, according to a section of some Americans who believe that much needs to be done as regards how Black Americans basically are being treated whenever they are accosted by law enforcement agents. At the forefront is social justice, without a doubt. So most people are saying, let this be sorted out once and for all, then basketball can resume. But there are also a section of some fans who say, oh, we can't be live at the stands. It's in the bubble. The game needs to go on. And you guys are being paid. So you should go to the courts to play the game. But majority is saying, no, let's put basketball on hold and get it done and over with.
Yeah, with this now really affects the way the NBA players are perceived, because some of them, as you mentioned, are saying that they're receiving millions of dollars. So they need to give them that entertainment they're requesting for.
Well, I think majority of Americans who are feeling the pulse of the players will understand why they're taking this stand. Because the Milwaukee Brewers, a franchise team in the MLB, that's the Major League Baseball, they actually boycotted their game yesterday. A number of teams in the WNBA as well did same. And even Major League Soccer club sites also followed in that direction. So the pulse is that this needs to stop, and the government of the day needs to give them a listening ear. And if they feel that they are being listened to, maybe they reach a consensus and the games will resume, because they need to take the game to a logical conclusion, because right about now, some teams are in the semifinals of the conference. Others need to continue in the first round, like the games between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Portland Trail Blazers, as well as the one between the LA Clippers and the Dallas Mavericks. But most people believe that they should put basketball on hold and sort this once and for all, because one life too many has been lost. Most recent was Jacob Blake. In May, it was George Floyd. Breonna Harris was some months back. And some other guys also got their lives lost due to police brutality. And they feel that this issue should be addressed once and for all.
All right, thank you, Kayode. We hope that all of these issues will be sorted out. I want you to listen to a couple of guys from Toronto Raptors. They had one or two things to say, the things on their mind relating to the Jacob Blake shooting and the playoffs, how all of this is figuring into all of these issues. I want you to listen to it, and I want to get your reaction after you listen to a couple of guys from the Toronto Raptors. I mean, just sharing their thoughts with us on all of these issues. Actually, that was Rudy Gobert, Nick Nurse, coaches, players, condemning that incident. Kayode, you listen to those guys there, Pascal Siakam also, all of them talking about it, some of the issues we've already talked about, police brutality, race relations, how these people see each other, why is it different when it's black, why is it different, why is there a different scenario if the person involved is white. But you listen to those guys just bearing their mind. And Rudy Gobert said, look, we know that this, things will not happen immediately, but we hope that there's going to be change.
The change is what they need right about now. And if the recurring decimal, like racial injustice, talking about social justice, and of course police brutality, which is one too many, especially to a particular tribe, talking about the African American community, and being populated in the NBA by mostly blacks. You would definitely expect them to react in the direction that they did. And getting from the likes of Rudy Gobert of the Utah Jazz, Pascal Siakam, and Fred VanVleet, both of the Toronto Raptors, who before now outside they might not get to play their game against Boston Celtics later today, says a lot about the fact that the voice of the players of the NBA needs to be heard. And it's just not restricted to the NBA alone. Like I said earlier, other franchise teams in the NFL and even the MLB, as well as the NBA, are taking a stand. I saw some teams yesterday in the WNBA who were wearing white shirts. They had Jacob Blake, and of course, gunshots on their white shirts, indicating the 7 gunshots that Jacob Blake received. And it's in solidarity of what has been happening as regards to police brutality, especially to black individuals in the United States. And because of the fact that in the NBA, majority of the players are populated by black individuals, same can also be said about the NFL. So that is why you find majority of them working in solidarity with them, and they expect that the government of the day should at least pay them a listening ear.
That's what we're hoping and praying for, so that next time we talk to you again, Kayode, it will be all about the game, what's happening on court, and not the social justice issue. Hopefully it can be solved soon. And after the meeting today, we should know what will happen in the NBA bubble. Thank you so much for waking up so early to talk to us once again this morning.
It was a pleasure. My regards to everyone, especially Tayo Salam.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. All right, let's listen to Doc Rivers, the coach of Boston Celtics, that emotional appeal he made to those in charge to actually ensure that police brutality is stopped in the U.S.
All right, welcome back. It's time to bring you into all that we're doing on the show. Let's know how you feel about some of the things we've talked about and tell us your opinion about what's going on in the United States, talking about the issues that have to do with police brutality, how it affects sports and all of that. Talk about the Western and Southern Open, that's in tennis. Talk about the NBA. Talk about what's happening on the domestic scene, plans to get sports back after the hiatus caused by COVID-19, and also all of the news in football, Messi, Maguire, all of those things. That's how you can be a part of it. Tweet at us at channels_sports. You can also send us a mail, sportsthismoney@channelstv.com. That's how you can get your voice across the globe and be heard, because we're global, we're international. As a matter of fact, we're everywhere. Okay. All right. So let's move on the show. And I have the pleasure of introducing our guest today. Is someone who is emotionally invested in football on the domestic scene. I have the pleasure of welcoming Segun Solanke, the president of Oluomo United FC.
Thank you very much, Sean.
And you actually.
Sorry. And you call it Oluomo, but it's actually Olumo.
Olumo, oh, sorry.
Yes.
Sorry. All right.
Nationwide league.
And for a Yoruba person to make that.
Unpardonable.
Okay. All right. Thanks for joining us. It's good to have you with us. There are a lot of issues to talk about. And maybe I should just start with what was on my mind the first time I knew you were going to come. The first time I knew. I mean, owning a club or being a president of a club in the domestic scene, how is it like?
It's tough.
Okay.
It's not easy.
All right.
It's something that the only thing that keeps you going has to just be the emotion and the satisfaction of that you derive from the game itself.
Okay.
I've been a lover of football all my life. I've been a lover of sports generally, but football is just one of those things that I love enjoying. So when we started with Olumo, it has just always been, okay, how do we change the perspective of football in Nigeria? And Olumo is just here to change all the narratives, run it professionally, make it more viable, and that is what keeps us going.
All right.
Running professionally. I mean, that got me there. That's the nationwide league. We know how difficult it is. Yemi just mentioned, trying to run a football club in Nigeria, especially when you really don't have the visibility and the consistency, because sometimes you start a league, the next thing is it's been suspended. Maybe there's some issues, home and away teams fighting and all that. And the NFF had to, come in and everything and all. So how do you juggle all this? Right now, we know that the league, once the federal government, gives the go-ahead that sports, contact sports can resume, the league is supposed to resume between September and October. As of now,
hopefully,
we really can't say. Yeah. So when you have issues like this, not consistent, how do you deal with them?
Okay, so it brings me back to what Yemi was just saying, running the football, which is one of the main things that happens in Nigeria, that consistency. You want to start a league at a particular time, and you are still not ready, just when it's a few weeks away. What we have internationally is they have a date set, and everybody follows the date. So COVID has changed a whole lot of things, and see where we are. Eventually, they have still decided to come back, find a way around it, finish the game, even Champions League, everything will still end up working out. But what have we done? Nothing. Now, I know that what we have here is not what they have there. So we will definitely have to play around it. And I will say that now that COVID has come, it has actually given us the opportunity to start afresh. Now they've set time for September to October to start the new league. Let us stick to it. Let us run it the number of weeks that we want to run it. And if we do that, people at home will also be encouraged. Now it's all a matter of, do people at home even also see us play? How many of our players in Nigeria do we know? Now, you can go to Olumo social media handles and you will see some of the things that we're doing. We also have a website, it's also olumounitedfc.com. You will see that we're trying to change all the narratives so that even you can always go on those pages and you'll be able to see our players without necessarily calling us. So if you are interested in our player, all you just need to do is pick from there and tell us, oh, I love this player, I like to know more. Then we can now feed you with whatever that you need. But I could say again, what we need in Nigeria is to begin to run football professionally and more lucratively.
Okay, that brings us to the issue of club licensing, which is a major one that the NFF and LMC are saying, look, you guys will have to follow this to get registered for the next season.
Let me make you laugh. We are waiting to when we start the league. And I know that my team in the medical department have been, making sure that they get quite a number of things for the first aid and all that. In fact, I had to laugh one day. I said, are you guys sure that when we are going to play a match, people will not think that we are bringing a whole hospital to the field?
Okay, what you're saying in a nutshell is that your team is ready. I mean, all these things, you have them ready?
I can tell you, Cecilia, we are fully ready. We are fully committed, and we are ready to change the narrative of football in Nigeria.
Okay, club license, how rigorous or how easy is it if, as somebody who has been there, if I'm a newbie, if I'm somebody who is interested to be in your shoe, maybe I want to be a chairman, I want to be a president. I mean, talk about it. I mean, what are the hoops I have to, the hurdles I have to cross? Okay,
so I would say this for NFF. It is the most ideal thing to have those club licenses, those regular things, those criteria that are in there, because there is no way that you actually want to run a football club, either in Nigeria or anywhere else. Those guidelines have to be met. Now, if you are able to meet it, you will see that it makes even life easier for you. One of the few things that they are also requesting in those guidelines are your medicals. How do you take care of your players? How do they handle emergencies? So all those things are just the nitty-gritty of a proper football club. Today, you and I will want to wear Arsenal jersey, Man U jersey. Anyway, you can see I am wearing Olumo United
You don't have
jersey.
A choice. If you have one of that jersey right here, I think we're just walking out of the studio because you need to promote your club.
No, so you can see. And what we've also done when we were coming up with our own jersey is the fact that we said we are not going to do anything less that is going to not be sellable.
That the acceptable standard.
Acceptable standard. And that is what we have done. Very soon, I'm sure you'll begin to see everybody everywhere, and they will call themselves the citizens. That's our own tag name.
Okay. That's interesting. Now, club licensing is not just about medicals and all that. And that's what you've mentioned. You talked about having home ground, having a structure. I mean, having finances to actually, being able to run the club and some other issues, how your players move and everything. So these things, you guys have it, your home ground, your own stadium. I mean, even if you don't, but you know that, yes, you have a particular place you can play and everything, ready there. And also the finance, players' welfare and everything.
Okay, so with finance, I can tell you it's not easy and it's never going to be easy. Most companies who even wants to sponsor are ready to sponsor a related international game rather than support the domestic one, which is what we are battling with now. But I will say, I won't let the cat out of the bag just yet. There are some that we are already talking to, and I know that
subsequently
you will be seeing something good. But in terms of also the players, you can be sure that we are doing all our best, and they are getting ready for the new season.
Okay, now let's just take a look at, what National League, Nigeria National League have actually, spell out medical conditions for clubs to be able to participate in the new season that is coming up. They've real out a whole lot of things, starting from having a medical doctor, a nurse, a physiotherapy for their games. And the second one is clubs are to carry out medical examination of all contract players and coaches, and also have medical records of which shall be made available for inspection by authorized representatives of the league body. And the third one is the fact that making available players' medical record to other clubs during transfer and negotiations of a player by the club holding such a player. The other one is clubs are to maintain a medical insurance scheme approved by the NNL. I believe this one we're talking about also applied to the lower league. And went further to say that compulsory first aid medical services at every match venue. And you said you guys already have that, ambulance and stretchers and all that. And clubs will also present certificates of medical fitness of all players, coaching cabinet. Certificates must also be endorsed by a doctor with his contact details from reputable and designated medical center in their state. So all these will have to be put in place for clubs to be able to prosecute their games. Now, a situation whereby some of these clubs cannot, according to NNL, they will not be registered for the new season. And we'll know that most of the clubs are owned by government. But the private one, you said if you guys are going for a game or home game, everyone would think maybe it's a hospital. But do you have a certified medical doctor,
Yes,
physiotherapist, and all these people, and of course, welfare and everything?
Yes, we do. We've also made sure that our teams so far have all gone on medical tests and everything has been certified okay. We are also planning on actually running a trial very soon in Abeokuta, where is our home base. And we intend that any players that we are also choosing from there are also going to go for every medical test and make sure that they are all certified. Now, we also actually even run an academy, both here in Lagos and in Abeokuta. And you can be rest assured that even for the academy, all of them will pass through medical tests, just to make sure that everybody is fit.
So no matter how rigorous all of these things may appear, I mean, you're ready.
We are fully ready.
What it is. All right, we're talking about the NLL, and I know one of the desires that you have as a club is that maybe one day,
very soon, very soon, I must say.
So your club will be playing, but I mean, for the sake of the fans, the viewers, and everybody, football lovers listening to you, how far do you think you are from achieving that?
I can tell you, don't be surprised that you'll wake up after this very season and you'll find us in NNL.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking you were going to say probably in a couple of years.
I won't say that. Maybe if you ask me for MPFL, I'll say, okay, in a couple of years we will be. But I can tell you that if it's for the NNL, we are going to be there very, very soon than you can even imagine.
Okay. That's ambition speaking there.
Exactly. I think we just have to leave it here because you have lots of ambition to not just, not remain there, but NNL and then
MPFL.
MPFL, and you're not just one of those clubs in NLO that will just come sell players and continue and everything.
No,
and
not
that.
at all. Not
you're
at
here
all.
to stay.
We are here to stay, and we are here to promote Nigeria to the world. If you actually look at our name, it's called Olumo. The first thing that comes to your mind is what? Olumo Rock.
Yeah.
So it is also not just selling ourselves, but also selling our city, selling ourselves to the world. And when everybody around the world hears Olumo, everybody will say, are you a citizen? And you can tell yourself, I am a citizen.
Are you guys planning on having a home ground, like having this is our stadium? Because we hardly see that in MPFL or any of the league.
Yemi just said we have a very big ambition. Please just know that that is also already in the making. We are going to be having our own ground. We might even be the first club in Nigeria to own a stadium.
Your own stadium?
Yes.
Okay, we're waiting. If I think they have theirs. Right?
Yeah, they
okay, so you will not be the first.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming to the program.
Thank you very much.
All right, Manchester City fans are really celebrating that Lionel Messi might just come to their club. And of course, why they're obsessed with the Champions League. And they feel if he comes, he might just be the player that will win it for them. Let's listen to them when we come back. We'll talk more about this.
I don't what? No comments, actually.
Yeah, let's go straight to the papers.
I don't want to see anything about Harry Maguire.
I know.
Okay, let's go to the papers and quickly see how far we can go. We have 3 papers for review. Maybe we'll take 2. Who knows? Let's see how much time we have left. Let's start with Complete Sports. And on Complete Sports, we have some interesting stories. Oshola Ruse, Barca ladies, ill law, Crystal Palace on brink of signing Ebere Eze.
Yeah, I mean, Shola, they lost to Wolfsburg, and Wolfsburg are through to the final. You say another Barcelona team losing to another German team. Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, the Women's Champions League final is going to be between Wolfsburg and Lyon. So, I mean, perennial champions. So it's going to be German and French. Which is going to take it if it's going to be the French side. But Lyon, of course, are favourites for that, not the other way around. Okay, Sporting Life is the next one this morning, if we have that. And in Sporting Life here, you have NFF tells Gennett Rowe and others, attach your resignation letters to contract signed. That's on Sporting Life this morning. Okay, and of course, you have Onazi secures a 3-year deal with Crotone. That's the Serie B side that just got promotion to the Serie A. So that's a good one for him, 3-year deal. So himself, Shimi, will be. We have 2 Nigerians right now in that place. Okay, we can take a tweet. Okay, we don't have time to take one. Okay, I'll just take one tweet. Chidera Ikede says, I think government all over the world has the constitutional right and might to actually stop social injustice and racism in their various states. Okay, I think tomorrow we're going to read more. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Omogbe.
All right, there's one more edition of the show, and that's going to be tomorrow. Of course, hopefully you'll be able to enjoy that as you enjoyed today. I'm Ibrahim Adebayo. Bye-bye now.